Sugar trying to play me, and now they hate me. Now when I come around, got them screaming, oh she fame me. When I turn around, got them clicking, trying to paste me. Better pipe down before it get messy. What's up, my parties, my lovelies? Welcome to back to the His House. Glad you're here. We're here to talk about the Barbie movie. I did the unthinkable. Yes, I saw Barbie, the movie. And I'm here to do my little review or whatever on it. I did one of my Little Mermaid, give it a little rating or whatever and go from there. So here it is. Yeah, if you like any part, definitely give me a thumbs up and come back to see us at his house. Okay, first of all, originally I wasn't really planning on going to see Barbie, but I really just went to see it because it was something to do. Okay, I had time, and it gave me a reason to wear pink. Like, I don't really have a lot of pink, but the pink that I have might as well wear it for a movie or whatever. So yeah, got me a little snacks or whatever, saw my little movie. And I would say the first few minutes of it definitely was more than what I expected. Okay, I'm not really a person to do a spoiler alert, so you don't have to worry about that. The first few minutes was definitely more than what I was expected because the aesthetic of the movie was giving Barbie. Like, I felt like I was in a Barbie dream house all over again, and it brought back childhood memories. Now, keep in mind, I did have a Barbie, and I did at one time play with my Barbies, but it's been a while since I've had a Barbie, so I didn't really see the need to go to the movie. But baby, I'm glad I did. I feel like it's worth seeing. And it also kind of gives you the backstory of what Barbie is, what was Barbie designed for, like who was the founder of Barbie, like what was their vision for Barbie, because we see Barbies still, we see them everywhere. And I got to be a little fangirl for a moment because I had realized, that used to be my childhood, so it brought back a little bit of memories or whatever. And the main character, whatever her name is, she looked like Barbie. Like, she was perfect for the role. I'm so happy that she got to play that part because she did the part really, really, really well. I love, like, yeah, that even the background, like, that's just the idea. It's like everything was in pink, from the doors to, the surroundings at time, and they matched the fake with the real. So some parts of it you can tell like they were in a dream house. And I thought it was so cool to like experience that because, those people who have the Barbie playhouses or whatever, you get to play the role. But, as a kid, it's just pretend, it's just play. So the movie kind of takes the playhouse and brings it to life. And I kind of like that idea. I think that was kind of cool. And this is speaking from a person who wasn't originally going to see the movie, but I would recommend you seeing it. I did enjoy the movie. Yeah. As the movie got on, it takes a turn where it takes on like a realistic setting. And so you're dealing with real people and they're interacting with the Barbies or whatever. And so it gets a little tricky, it gets a little touchy or whatever. So it's like, okay, we're not in Barbie land anymore. We're in the real world. And so that part was like different, but they made it in a way that it was smooth sailing. It was, cool, copacetic to where you could tell like it's still the two worlds are merging into one and how they collide. Even though they're two separate entities, two separate worlds, you can kind of see how they connect. And that was kind of cool as well. But as the movie went on, like it started having a twist that I wasn't expecting. It started having a plot that I really didn't expect with the movie because the movie was literally just about Barbie. And when you grow up, you hear about Barbie and Ken, and you think about, okay, there's gonna be the dynamic with Barbie and Ken. It really was just like surface level. It really wasn't. It was really focused on Barbie. So it was about women empowerment, how women play with Barbies, how Barbie's that girl, that go-to figure of what womanhood can be from birth to business to life, and she creates her own dream house. And it really, to be honest, you know, I feel like if Ken wasn't around, it would create more independent women. You know what I'm saying? Because in life, I feel like you have to be independent. But as a child, you're kind of bred into this analogy where you have to have a family. You got to find your kin. You got to, reproduce and have a child. And it's a lot of pressure that goes on to Barbie, because I believe they had a pregnant Barbie before. They had a Barbie with children. They had a lot of stages of what Barbie goes through. But the original Barbie, she was just beautiful, perfect, living life in her dream house. And it's a lot of women as an adult, I feel like, can relate to that, because a lot of women don't have children. A lot of women don't have a kin. But at the same time, it's like, that's the ideal based on society's morals and society's standards. So it makes you get back in touch with that independent girl power of Barbie. Like, Barbie was living the dream. Barbie was living the life, just doing whatever she wanted to do. But I do, however, remember Ken coming along, and everybody that had a Barbie, most of them wanted a Ken. So there was a Ken in the movie, of course, but it wasn't like the focus of the movie. It was focused on Barbie. But it's so crazy because unknowingly, like, that was the dream, to have Barbie and Ken. Barbie and Ken. Barbie and Ken. And you always put the two together. And for the longest, I didn't even imagine Barbie without Ken. Like, we knew Ken was around. Even if you didn't have a Ken with you, like, we always assumed that Barbie would always have a Ken. And that's the crazy part, because that's crazy how the child is conditioned and starts to think about life, and you got to have your perfect person. You got to find your perfect man that's just for you. And Barbie and Ken were so perfect for each other, the perfect duo. And it's not till you get older that you start realizing a lot of these fairy tales, a lot of these hopes, and a lot of these dreams that you assume that the world is made of is not really what it's made of in reality. In real life, a lot of things are not what you see in the fairy tales or in the commercials or in the storybooks. And in the Barbie house, like, some of that stuff is like, the pink Corvette is like, you can have all that stuff, true enough, but that's not every person's reality. A lot of people have families. A lot of people have 2-parent household, or additional add-ins to their families, blended families. Like, it goes deep, but it just makes you think back to the fact that Barbie was good. Like, Barbie had her house, Barbie had her car, Barbie had her hair done, Barbie had her clothes, Barbie had her shoes, Barbie had her nail done. She wasn't really worried about Ken until we kind of pushed Ken, I feel like, on her, if that makes sense. It's like, Barbie was good without Ken. Barbie was definitely more than good without Ken, but I feel like we kind of pushed that they were a duo. Like, they had to be a duo. They had to be a pair. And I love the fact that it's not all focused on them as a duo, but more so as them as individuals, you living life and experiencing life together and separately. I like that. And I feel like that's kind of why I didn't want to watch the movie, because I was thinking that it was just like, stereotypical family. Like, okay, the woman got to find the kids. You got to get the husband to get the kids, and then they get the house, and yada, 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 yada. Got to get her kin. And it was just like the stereotypical pattern of life of what a woman is supposed to do. Got to go to the job, got to have the career, got to keep herself to high standards and look a certain way and be dolled up everywhere she goes. And every time she steps out, everything has to be on point. Everything has to be on cue. So I guess that's kind of why I did not want to see it. But I will say that I'm glad that I did see the movie. I love, like I said, the aesthetics in the movie, how they put that together. And then there was a twist in the movie that I was not expecting, that it was good to see. So, but then overall, and then after that, it was like, it just started getting less. It was fairy tale, but it seemed like it started getting real because they had to make real decisions and take on real turns of events to get the outcome that they wanted or whatever. So, you know, then that was that. So overall, I'm going to give my rating of what I think the movie was to me, like as a collective overall. I would say that overall, I would say the movie would be like a 7.5. 7.5. I would say 7.5 just because I might go back and see it again. Just because now that after I've seen it, I realized it had a deeper meaning in it, and there was meaning to the movie that when I sat down originally to watch the movie that I really didn't realize or really didn't think about. But after coming home and contemplating about the movie, I was like, wow, there was a message there, and it was more than one message there. And also the movie was fairly decent overall. So shout out to them doing Barbie. So if you have not seen Barbie, go check it out. Especially if you grew up with Barbie. And if you didn't grow up with Barbie, it would definitely put you in the zone to experience what having a Barbie would have been like, or would have been like, or is like. So yeah. And it gives you a reason to wear pink. Yeah. So I love the fact that I didn't really go all out this time, wearing the pink, but I could have if I was a pink girl. Like, I'm not a pink girl. Like, I wear pink, but I'm actually liking pink more. But if you a girl who wears pink, like, I know you would have so much fun wearing your pink to go see the Barbie, because it was a lot of pink in the movie. Because that's Barbie. Like, that's what she really stood for. Like, from her house to her car to a lot of the stuff she wore. Or the dolls that you get, a lot of it would have pink in it. Even her lipstick, I think, was like pink or pink for a minute. So yeah, that identifies Barbie. Now, a lot of people are wanting to know, is it kid friendly? Okay. So I would say yes, because I didn't see any nudity. I didn't see any, I don't remember even seeing any kissing. I may have overlooked it. So I would say for that, yes. It did have Barbie like a theme in it, but it wasn't like actual Barbies flying around. It was actual people. So just know that they will be seeing live people. Now, whether you think that's cool for your level of child to see actual peoples acting like Barbies, or if they would rather you see them with cartoons or an actual Barbie portraying a movie, then that's on you, because there's no Barbies, like physical Barbies talking or nothing in the movie. It's people portraying Barbie. And one of my favorite was like the weird Barbie. Like, I was so excited to see her, because I don't know why, but it's like I've always seen okay, let me come back to that. But as far as the kids, I would say yes, it was kid friendly. I feel like kids that are, I don't know, of any age could see it. I feel like kids of any age could see it. But I will say this. Towards the end of the movie, the song with Nicki Minaj is in there, and some of the lyrics are explicit, but that's after the movie is over. And so that's something you may have to think about, because that's like one of the first things you hear, one of the first songs you hear when the movie ends. So it's kind of like, if you don't get them out, because it was even really shocking to me, because I'm like, there's probably 3-year-olds in here, 4-year-olds here, and they're hearing about these explicit lyrics and words, even though all the lyrics of that song are not explicit. But for a children's movie, yeah, I wouldn't have certain lyrics in there. So it kind of lets you know that maybe it's not so kid friendly. Maybe kids under a certain age, they weren't making it for them, even though I feel like they could see it. But like I said, the fact they had this song in there, but it wasn't playing during the movie. It was playing after. Or even if it was playing, they probably had the edited version. But when it's over with, it's not edited. So I would listen to that song because before you actually leave or have time to leave, when the movie's ending, you might hear that song. That's all I'm saying. Because I was like, ooh, I don't even have kids, but if I had kids, I wouldn't want them to hear some of the lyrics in the next song. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Nicki fan, and I feel like Nicki's good for adults. Certain environments, Nicki's good for women in certain environments. But in a movie called Barbie, where I know there possibly could be kids there, I really feel like that actually took out some points of the movie. And it's so sad because it wasn't actually a part of the movie, but like that will make it not kid friendly in my opinion. That was the only thing. Actually. So yeah, that's my opinion of the movie. And going back to the weird Barbie, like I love that they had her, the Barbie that has the hair that's kind of cut off and is drawn on. Like you see those Barbies all the time, and so many times we see people running through the Barbies, having the Barbies looking crazy. You always see naked Barbies, but there's none of that in the video. You always see like these weird dynamics of Barbies, like their hair cut off, or I don't know, like one shoe is missing. But the fact that they had that weird Barbie in there was one of the highlights of the movie to me. Like I really loved that because she looked exactly like the weird Barbie. So they picked a good replica of that as well, which is so funny because I never thought I would see a weird Barbie in person. But actually the weird Barbie represents a lot of people, because sometimes people can be weird and people can be unordinary and people can be like, wowza. But that's who America is. America is full of a lot of weirdos. Sadly enough, you run into more weirdos, I think, than sane people sometimes. So while Barbie is picture perfect, having people see the weird Barbie, in her imperfection, and how society spit her up and chewed her out and, did it without caring and just like whatever, threw her to the side and was like, next, let's get somebody else in here and do that to them. Like it just lets you know what kind of world we live in, because you would think a child is going to sit there and just start cutting the hair of a doll, drawing on a doll. But that's how real and raw that these kids can be, because when we are doing it or when we have done it or seen it done, it's not like we try to. I guess it is, because I feel like it's just the interpretation of the child realizing that their life is not picture perfect and their Barbie is not relatable to them. So in that of them realizing that, they just take it out on the doll. And so, yeah, there may be some limbs missing or the doll's hair looks a little crazy because that's what they're used to. And they try to make the doll normalize to what they're used to. And even though the doll is not weird, even though she does something in the movie that I find kind of funny, because I'm like, how is she doing that? But the thing that she does is so true, because a lot of dolls look like that. And the thing that she does, a lot of those dolls that look like that, that's how they look. And so that really took the movie level up for me, just because I don't like the fact that everything had to be perfect. And the fact that they incorporated that really did something for me. Like it made me feel normal, even though I'm not saying I'm weird, but I'm definitely not the stereotypical Barbie. And that's okay. And I love the fact that, they just celebrated all kinds of people. There was a Barbie that had a wheelchair in there. And at first I was going to say, like, some of these people in the movie didn't look like Barbies to me, as far as they didn't look perfect. And that kind of bothered me a little bit at first. But then too, if you have regular people, sometimes they're not going to be just all the way chiseled. But that was going to be one of my complaints when I saw like some of the people. I'm like, some of the people don't look just Barbie. But then too, I started realizing maybe they're trying to let you see that Barbies can come in all shapes, all sizes, and all colors, and all genres, just like Weird Barbie. And it's okay, because I'm like, I ain't never seen no Barbie that look like her. I don't think I've seen a Barbie that look like him. So I'm up here being overly critical because you get in this mode where you're like, well, Barbie has to do this and Barbie has to do that. So the fact that they weren't really discriminatory as far as picking the actors, I guess that's really cool and that's down to earth. So overall, I would say that I really enjoyed the movie, and I would encourage anybody that hasn't seen it to at least go see it, or at least, get it on the screen at your home. You don't have to physically go out to see it, but it's definitely worth seeing, especially if you have seen Barbie or you grew up with Barbie and you have a child that plays with Barbie. I feel like they'll be able to relate, and it'll just be a good bonding experience for young girls, young women, just women in general. And it's a little something in there for the men, of course, because the Kens are there. The Ken is in the movie or whatever, Ken and Barbie. But yeah, so that's my analogy of the movie. I want to know what your thoughts of the movie were. When did you see it? How was it? Are you going to plan on seeing it? Like, let me know all that down in the comment section below. And if you liked anything that was shared or seen in the video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, because yeah, it helps grow the channel, and it's free 99. And if you would like to be a part of the His House and be one of our pertees or our lovelies, really just pertees, but I don't know, I guess people who don't like pertees, also sometimes call them lovelies. But pertee is alleged tea, and this channel just talks about different topics, and sometimes we give reactions, make predictions, and just talk about gossip and just general things, and let you talk about it too down below in the comment section. So if you are into any of that stuff, then you might want to be a part of the His House. And that's just per tea on me. And that's all I pretty much had to say. I'm glad I got to see the movie, and I know that anybody who is seeing the movie are going to enjoy it, because I did. And this is coming from a person who did not necessarily want to go see the movie originally. But I'm definitely glad that I did. And I think you'll be glad you saw the movie too. So Barbie, the movie is in theaters everywhere. Some theaters I heard have a $64 or $65 pink Corvette popcorn thing, even though I didn't even know that until I saw the movie. But it's cool. Enjoy yourselves. Let me know what you think. Break to the dawn. We chrome, sitting on the dome. We home. DK, His House is on our zone. DK, His House, pretty on. Sipping on that pearly, white millet merly. Sipping on that pearly, ooh, she dirty.